So far, our programs can store data, understand data types, make decisions using if and else. But imagine this. What if I want to print numbers from 1 to 100? Am I going to write something like print 1, print 2, print 3, and so on 100 times? Of course not. Today we will learn loops, the concept that allows code to repeat itself. This is where programming becomes powerful. A loop means repeat this code while a condition is true. Humans do this all the time. For example, while the traffic light is red, we wait. While the phone battery is low, we charge. For every student in the class, we take attendance. Python gives us two main loops, while and for. We will learn both slowly and clearly. A while loop repeats code as long as a condition is true. Let's take an example. I will define a variable called count equal to 1, and while count is less than equal to 5, I will print the value of the count, and then I will increment the count by 1. While count is less than or equal to 5, print count, simple, increase count by 1. Python checks the condition every time before repeating. Let's see what happens step by step. Count is equal to 1, condition is true, so prints and increases the value of count. Count is equal to now becomes 2, condition is true, prints and increases the value of the count. Count becomes 3, condition gets true, prints the value of count and increases the value of count, and it goes on until count value is 5 and executes as well. When count becomes 6, the condition is false and the loop stops, right? So loops are just repeated decision checks. Let's try and run this program. You see, it's printing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not 6, because when the count value was 6, condition was false and loop was stopped. Now we need to watch one thing very carefully. What happens if we do not modify the value of count? This becomes an infinite loop. The program never stops executing. Why? Because count never changes and the condition never becomes false. The loop runs forever. This is called an infinite loop. It's not really scary, just something to control these days. Now let's try and build something useful. Let's take a variable called seconds. We will provide the value 5 and we will define the loop while seconds is greater than 0. We will print countdown, seconds, and seconds we are going to decrement by 1. And when the loop is finished, we want to print time is up. Okay. Let's try and run this one. You see? Countdown 5, countdown 4, 3, 2, 1, and eventually time gets up. This is how timers, retries, and background checks work in real systems. It's a very simple way to demonstrate the logic behind those systems. They are very complex, and we will do something eventually. Now let's learn the second loop. A for loop. Now a for loop is used when we know how many times we want to repeat. Let's take an example like for number in range from 1 to 6, print number. For each number from 1 to 5, print the number. Range 1, 6 means start at 1, stop before 6. Let's try and run this one. You see, it prints 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's the simple rule. Use while when you don't know how long to repeat. It depends on a condition. Use for when you know the number of repetitions. You're looping over a sequence. They both are powerful, and we need to make sure that we choose the right one according to our scenario. Let's take another program. And this is a classic and very useful one. Let's define a variable called number, and we will try to get the user input, enter a number, and we are converting the type to integer. For I in range 1 to let's say 11, print number x number to I. Now let's see what happens when we run this one. It's asking for us to input a number. Let's input 4, and we have a table, multiplication table for 4. Now this uses input, type conversion, for loop, calculation. And we are already combining concepts we learned so far. And loops, they don't only work with numbers. Let me show you another example. Let's say name is equal to world, or maybe Micah. For letter in name, print letter. Python treats text as a sequence of characters. What we have defined here is a variable which contains some text. So Python treats it as a sequence of characters. For each character, the loop runs once. Let's try and check that. Here we see every character the loop was executed once. Sometimes we want to stop a loop early, and here comes a very important concept which is called break. So for I in range 1 to 10, sorry, if I equal to 5, break, print I. Break immediately exits the loop. Let's try this one. The loop iterates from 1 to 4, but when the condition for I equal to 5 becomes true, break is executed, which immediately kicks us out of the loop. Here comes another mechanism. We call it continue. And in this one, we sometimes want to skip one step. For example, for I in range 1 to 6, if I is equal to I is equal to 3, we want to continue. We don't want to do anything else. We want to print I. Let's run this one. And you see 1, 2, but we do not want to print 3. So we skip 3 by using the term continue. 4, 5. So continue skips the current iteration and moves on. Now let's build something more useful, something like a program which performs password attempts. So it's going to be a little realistic example. So let's define a variable called correct password, and let's write hello attempts, another variable, and we will say 3, while attempts is greater than 0, entered is equal to input, enter password. Now we want to perform the conditional check. If entered is equal to correct password, then we want to print login successful, and we would like to get out of the loop, else we will reduce the number of attempts by 1, and we will say wrong password. Eventually what we want to do is if attempts become 0, we would like to print account is locked. This combines while loop, if else, break, real world logic, and how authentication systems typically behave. Let's try and run this one. Wrong password. Again wrong password. And you see, since I've entered wrong password 3 times, my account is locked. Now pause the video and try this. I would like to give you a quick challenge. Build a program that asks the user for a number, prints all even numbers from 1 to that number. I would like to also give you a hint. You can use a loop and a condition. You should use a loop and a condition and type it yourself. Do not rush. Now that we can store data, make decisions, repeat logic, it's time to organize our code. In the next episode, we will understand functions, which are often called reusable blocks of logic. And this is where clean programming begins. If loops finally make sense, like the video, comment episode 5 done after completing the challenge. See you in episode 6. Bye bye.